Welcome to today's explainer. All right, 8th graders. Today we're shifting gears. I want you to step out of the everyday student role and step into something with a lot more power. You are now editors-in-chief, and as an editor, your job isn't just to passively read words on a page. No, you interrogate them. You fix broken, confusing text, and you evaluate case files packed with diverse, sometimes conflicting sources. Today, we're going to master the exact skills you need to evaluate a paragraph for unity and coherence and critically compare different sources of information. Let's get into it.
Here's our cognitive map for today. First up, unity and coherence revision. Next, we're comparing 3 unique sources. Then, evaluating authority and evidence. After that, we'll tackle the disagreement, misconception, run through some knowledge checks and reasoning, and finally, wrap things up with a recap and a transfer task.
Section 1. Unity and Coherence Revision.
Okay, let's dive into this. An editor's very first job is making sure a paragraph actually stays on topic and flows logically. Take a look at this rough draft. It starts with this big philosophical idea, how fiction and nonfiction explore truth differently. It brings up a breakup song as a personal account. Awesome. But then, out of nowhere, I also really like listening to pop music on the radio. Wait, what? Did you catch that? That totally off-topic sentence just derailed the whole paragraph. And then it follows up with a super weak, informal transition anyway. As editors-in-chief, there's absolutely no way we're letting that slide. Now, check out the revised draft. Notice how we've built the strong controlling idea. We completely scrapped that random thought about radio music, and instead of that lazy word, anyway, we swapped in a precise transition, conversely, to perfectly contrast a true personal experience with combining reality and fantasy. It's like night and day, right? Trimming the fat and using the right transitions creates a cohesive, powerful piece of writing.
Section 2. Comparing 3 unique sources.
Now let's transition to our second editorial duty, examining our source material case file. Context is literally everything here. In the real world, you're going to encounter a massive variety of texts, and you've got to understand that different text types serve completely different purposes. First up, we've got a theatrical script, Oscar Wilde's classic play, The Importance of Being Earnest. Its core purpose? To entertain an audience and completely mock the absurd social manners of Victorian society. It's fiction, it's witty, and it's full of satire. Compare that to our second source, a historical museum page from the United States Holocaust Memorial Museum, focused on Anne Frank's diary. Its purpose is highly serious. It examines a primary document as both historical and literary text to grasp the factual realities of the Holocaust. And finally, take a look at the third one, a standards-based lesson plan from Read Write Think about making paper bag skits. Its whole purpose is instructional, teaching students how to outline story elements. Obviously, you wouldn't analyze Oscar Wilde's witty comedy the exact same way you'd analyze a solemn museum page or a teacher's lesson plan, right? You have to adjust your lens based on exactly what the source is trying to do.
Section 3. Evaluating authority and evidence. Let's see how this builds, because to evaluate these wildly different sources, we're equipping you with 5 essential media literacy tools. Tool number 1 is source authority. This basically asks, who made this, and why on earth should we trust them? It's about the credibility, expertise, or institutional backing of the creator. For example, if we're looking at facts about World War II, a source like the United States Holocaust Memorial Museum carries immense authority. They have the institutional backing, the historians, the fact-checkers, so for historical evidence, they're highly credible. Tool number 2 is proximity. Think of this as distance in time, space, or personal experience. How close was the creator of the source to the actual event? Anne Frank's diary is incredibly powerful specifically because it has immediate proximity. She was right there, living through the Holocaust in real time, making it an invaluable primary source. Conversely, a textbook written 50 years later, that has low proximity, even if it happens to have high authority. Moving on to tool number 3, evidence. This means the specific facts, concrete details, or textual quotes used to back up a claim. As 8th graders, you know you've got to cite the textual evidence that most strongly supports your analysis. Whether you're breaking down the sharp wit in Oscar Wilde's dialogue or outlining a historical timeline, you literally cannot just guess. You must rely on concrete details and exact quotes to prove your point. Tool number 4 is corroboration. A great editor-in-chief never, ever relies on just one single document. If you want the truth about an event, you compare multiple sources to corroborate the facts and build a more complete, accurate picture. If 3 totally different primary sources from the same time period all point to the exact same conclusion, your confidence in that information goes way, way up.
And our final tool in the kit is understanding a source's limits. Every single source, no matter how fantastic, has boundaries, gaps, or inherent biases. For instance, that paper bag skit lesson plan, it's phenomenal for teaching story structure, but its limit is that it's not going to teach you historical facts. Recognizing what a source cannot tell you is honestly just as crucial as knowing what it can tell you.
Section 4. The disagreement misconception.
Now, what's really interesting about this next concept is that it tackles a huge myth in middle school reading comprehension. When you're comparing sources, you're inevitably going to find ones that just do not match up. Have you ever thought, well, these two authors disagree, so one of them must be totally wrong and completely useless? That is a massive misconception. The reality is, disagreements reveal complexity, bias, and the specific limits of each perspective. When a historical account and a fictional portrayal disagree on an event, it doesn't mean one is garbage. It actually shows us how authors alter history for their own purposes. By analyzing that friction, we gain a much deeper understanding of the people who wrote them.
Section 5. Knowledge checks and reasoning.
All right, editors-in-chief, time to put those hard hats on and test what we've covered. Question 1. Which revision technique best fixes a paragraph that jumps randomly from discussing civil rights history to a student's favorite superhero? Think back to our unity and coherence lesson for a second.
If you said you need to ruthlessly remove the off-topic superhero sentence, you hit the nail on the head. You've got to cut it because it completely destroys the paragraph's unity. But remember, you can't just delete it and walk away. You also need to add a strong transition phrase that connects the remaining historical evidence smoothly back to your controlling idea. Now that is top-tier editing.
Let's try question 2. Imagine you're researching Victorian society, and you find two primary sources. Maybe one's a diary, and the other is a satirical play like Oscar Wilde's. They completely disagree on social manners. Should you just throw one of them away?
No way. You definitely keep both. Remember that disagreement misconception we just talked about? You should evaluate both for their authority, their proximity, and their limits. You actually use their disagreement to understand just how complex and heavily debated Victorian society really was. The friction between the texts sparks a brighter fire of understanding.
Section 6. Recap and transfer task.
So, the crucial point is really locked into these 3 takeaways for Grade 8 ELA. Unified paragraphs require a clear controlling idea and logical flow without off-topic distractions. Every source has a unique purpose, requiring us to evaluate its authority, proximity, and evidence. Disagreements between sources highlight historical complexities rather than making one source useless. Now for your transfer task. Because we can't just leave this knowledge in theory, I want you to go find a paragraph you wrote recently for any class. Step 1, read it with your editor-in-chief hat on. Step 2, locate and remove one off-topic sentence. Step 3, replace a weak transition with a strong phrase that connects directly back to your controlling idea. Think about it. How much more powerful is your own writing going to be now that you're editing like a pro? Go find out. I'll see you on the next explainer.